I'd like to ask you, first up, when you got the call to come along and be involved, why did you say yes?
It was a chance to be involved in an environment where people, whether they had convictions or views or scientific opinions, would be able to put them all on the table and talk about them. And it was a chance for me to find out a bit more for my own knowledge, and also to find out what other people were thinking and discussing and where those views were going, and ultimately to see what the next step would be.
So Louise, there are people that say that we've got some climate change coming here in Australia in the future, and I'd just like to ask you what you think that might mean. Do you think there'll be an effect on people's daily lives?
Well, climate change, from my perspective, I can only speak for in terms of my length of life, but climate change is a historic thing that is something that we can expect to happen, across the eons in any country. What we're looking at in Australia at the moment, in my opinion, is something that we've brought upon ourselves probably in the last 50 years. And there are some changes that have taken place in my lifetime that I'm concerned about for my children's future and future generations of other people's children, and that's something that we need to now put our hand up and say we are looking at.
There are people that say that there's things that each and every one of us should be doing regards climate change. Do you think there's things that individuals like you and me can be doing or should be doing in our day-to-day life right now?
Well, there's things that we hear a lot about, like carbon footprints, and even if everybody started to chip away in a small way at the kind of waste that we take for granted in developed countries, I think we'd all be doing a significant amount in a global sense toward making the situation a little bit better. We will probably never get to reverse it, but to improve it is definitely a good thing. That ties in with the reason that I wanted to be part of the forum in the first place, that once you get an event that's big enough, once you get an event that's global enough, there is hope that the political leaders actually will hear some of the discussions and some of the outcomes, and that maybe we will have an effect, not maybe immediately, but it will give them something to work with, something to think about, and something to take to their policy making areas at some stage in the near future, hopefully.